Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm here in Newcastle. And this is actually one of the first times that I can remember ever being here, and it's an incredible city, a lot going on for it. And I'm here with Ian Thomas, who's the Chief Operating Officer for Newcastle Gateshead Initiative. Now that's obviously this is the tourism unit that oversees all of the travel and tourism here. We're going to talk to Ian about Newcastle and all the wonderful things you can find here, because it's definitely worth a visit here, spend some time here, and in the entire region of Northeast England. And you're going to find out about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, first of all, Ian, great to meet you. It's wonderful here. It's a beautiful day here in Newcastle. Right?
It is. It's a really nice day. The sun always shines in Newcastle.
That's right. Yeah. But this is, as I said, this is the first time I've been here. This is a large city. How large is it?
So the population's around 200,000. I think it feels large, but it's actually a really compact city that you can walk around quite easily as well. 15 minutes to anywhere is what we always say in this city.
Now, why would you tell someone to come here to Newcastle, specifically people from the US?
So for me, I think there's 3 or 4 major attractions. Obviously, the one thing everyone will tell you is the football club. This city lives and breathes for football, so having what people call the third cathedral, which is the stadium.
It's a beautiful stadium.
And then after that, we have I think what people will be surprised about is the food and drink scene here in the city. It's a really diverse food and drink offer. We've got everything from 2 Michelin star restaurants through to kind of, I think, 47 different types of cuisine in the city. But also, and hopefully you've seen this, amazing architecture within the city. Grey Street, quite often voted the most beautiful street in the country. We're very lucky to have some amazing architecture within the city.
And we walked around a little bit last night. Unfortunately, we did a walking tour at night. I want to walk around during the day. And in fact, just on the rivers, and you are on a river, it's the Tyne, right?
Yep, so the River Tyne. So you've got Gateshead to one side and Newcastle to the other, spanned by 7 bridges, which I'm sure you saw on your tour last night. So the kind of quayside area really brings that riverscape to life.
No, that amazing. There's a red arch. What do they call it?
So the Millennium Bridge.
The Millennium Bridge is amazing, and then all the other bridges. There's almost like it's like a history of bridge making in the because it's different eras of this.
Yeah.
So and then walking down your main drag, which is the one that you were talking about.
So Grey Street.
Grey Street,
yeah.
And it's just amazing. And you have a lot of history, and I mean we were talking about this is where kind of one of the foundations of railways in the UK and for the rest of the world.
Yeah, so I mean where we're stood right now is actually the site of part of the Stephenson work, so where George Stephenson was building trains. Obviously this year is Railway 200, the celebration of Darlington Stockton Railway, and Newcastle played a huge part. Shipbuilding, coal, that industrial revolution and that kind of period of enlightenment of Britain, a lot of it started here in Newcastle. The first, I know this is always slightly contentious, but the first light bulb.
The inventor of the electric light bulb is here. I'm sorry, Thomas Edison, right?
Yeah, so Joseph Swan, again, just kind of around the corner here. In our actual office, the office NGI work in was one of the areas that he worked on that. So yeah, brilliant to see that in the city.
He was a brilliant inventor, period. He just did a lot of different things. So this is a town famous for, well, electric light, shipbuilding, railway. It's really was part of the great industrial revolution, right?
Absolutely. That real kind of heart. And I think what we're seeing now is that coming again. So lots of companies at the forefront of AI and new tech, life sciences, so you can still feel that kind of invention within the city.
Yeah, and actually one of the things we did here yesterday was go to the Victorian Tunnel, which is a tunnel that was built to carry coal from, I don't know, maybe, what is it? Tell me a little bit about that, because it's an amazing attraction, I got to tell you.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Victoria Tunnel is actually voted the #1 attraction by many of our visitors. As you say, it used to bring coal from the city down to the boat at the river, but then act as kind of a base during the war for people to shelter.
That was an air raid shelter, and you see how they did that. And I got to tell you, the guides that take you down there, they are a hoot. They are a lot of fun.
Yeah, the guides are fantastic. I think if you just went in there on your own, you'd think it's just kind of a
tunnel.
It's a tunnel. But those guides, the way they bring that story to life and almost tell you the the lifetime of the tunnel one way and then the other is really fascinating. And actually, I think it's worth mentioning that we have so many volunteers that work in the tourism economy here in the northeast that really do tell that story. That I think what you'll have seen even in the short time you're in Newcastle is how friendly, welcoming, how passionate people are for the city and the place.
Well, in fact, that Victorian Tunnel also is illustrative of another major feature of Newcastle, and this is what I always thought about it. This is a coal town. This is what it was created by coal and the Industrial Revolution. So this and you can see a lot of attractions and museums that are devoted to that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the Discovery Museum, which tells the story of the city. Great North Museum, a lot of those buildings were formerly owned by kind of people who made their money in that coal or shipbuilding industry and then gifted it into kind of the communal society of Newcastle.
Yeah, and actually you mentioned shipbuilding, and shipbuilding, there's some major ships that were built here. Right?
If you looked at kind of Tyneside and in Sunderland and Wearside, a significant amount of kind of ships that were built both for kind of passenger ships but also kind of to carry that coal around the world. So yeah,
I think the Mauritania was built here,
yes,
right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So one of the great ocean liners long ago. But today it's a different story. As you said, football, Newcastle, which is the big team, and they're got a little more funding these days, and I think they're going to get a little better over the years. They're still beating my Manchester United right now. So we'll talk about that. But there's, as you said, cuisine, architecture, just the setting on the rivers is just spectacular.
So I think if you were coming, if I was saying to someone, if you come into this city, you arrive by train, you met in the real kind of beautiful train station, you come out into the city, you're never more than 5 minutes from your hotel, then wander down to the quayside, you will see the bridges that we mentioned, but you'll also see the glass house, are fantastic.
I saw that. It's amazing across the river. I just, what is that thing? It looks like it's sort of a concert hall and everything else. Right?
That's right. It was designed by Norman Foster, who's a world-renowned architect, got buildings all over the world. With one of the group that we're with last night, they said, "Oh, when did it open?" They thought it was 2 years old, not 30 years old, because it's really retained. It still looks really in keeping, and that glass house, the Baltic Art Gallery.
We ate at the top of the Baltic last night, six.
Yeah, and they were all part of a kind of regeneration in and around kind of the year 2000 of using culture to regenerate the city. The Baltic was a former flour mill, again using the river to transport those goods out. And then as you come into the city, as I mentioned, it's just the city always feels kind of alive, and it's brilliant to see it in the daytime, but it also comes alive on the night time, as you can imagine.
This is a university town, so not surprisingly there's a fair amount of nightlife, and I think this city is somewhat famous as the capital for bachelor parties, and yeah. Not in a bad way. It's good, but there's a lot of youth here, a lot of action, right?
50,000 students within the city, so that they bring a real kind of vibrancy and diversity to the city. A lot of international students as well, but I think you can kind of, it doesn't really matter what age you are coming into the city, you can kind of find your way, and you always feel safe, secure. Visitors always tell us that they feel kind of safe around the city as well.
Well, and you're also in the heart of northeast England, and really it's a wonderful area. We've been zooming around all of northeast England. We got more to go. We got 2 more days to go. This has been a really aggressive fam trip, but it's been good to see all these places. Ian, I want to thank you for spending some time with us. I know we're all here at this sort of little trade show event to highlight different attractions in Newcastle and the surrounding area. And I got to tell you, I got to come back and spend more time. And then you and I are going to go to see a Newcastle football match. Although you're not even a Newcastle fan, we don't mention that. But everyone has their teams in England. Right?
It's the worst kept secret. As a Sunderland fan, I spend my life saying how great Newcastle are. So I don't mind doing that.
Well, at least if one team wins, you got 2 teams you can worry.
Yeah, as I say, the team are flying, and I think the city feels a better place when Newcastle are doing well.
I can imagine. Well, I always like going to whatever. There's one next time. Next time I got to come and we'll see you there.
Make sure.
I'm James Shillinglaw here in Newcastle, and this is Insider Travel Report.